Hi everybody, welcome to the pre-event press conference of South Africa ahead of the start of the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup. Today with us we have George van Heerden, and he's ready to take your questions. Can I please ask that if you are on the call to please keep yourself on mute unless you have a question. And if you do have a question, then please use the raise your hand function or put your name in the chat box so that I can direct the question to you. Welcome, George, and we will get started now. And the first person will be Nathan Gogola.
Thank you very much, George. You guys were involved in the CSA T20 late last year against the senior established pro cricketers, then again recently against the West Indies under-19s. With that being said, do you guys feel well prepared for the competition? Coach Shukri did say he feels confident in the side to win every game.
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely the TKO helped us a lot playing against professional cricketers, because I think at that level you have to learn a lot more quickly than you would at under 19 level. And unfortunately, due to all the COVID stuff and all of that kind of thing, we weren't really allowed out the country. So playing within South Africa, I think playing the men's teams was actually the best that we could get, and it's prepared us very well for what's to come. So we're very excited for all of the upcoming games.
Razeen Gutta.
Hi, George. I want to talk a little bit about the balanced approach that the ICC are taking in terms of the bio bubble situation. Obviously, one of the things that are happening is that the group stage games are, I don't know if I should say rushed, but I feel like they're happening a lot more in quick succession than what might have been had the tournament taken place outside of COVID or compared to what we've seen in the past. How does that affect you guys? I mean, would you rather play the games with more rest time in between, or does it help with the momentum to play them in quick succession like you'll be doing?
To be quite honest, I've never really played games with so much rest time before in my life. So 2-3 days in between games is actually quite a lot. So I think for us, we're actually just so keen to get out into the park now. We've been here for such a long time with the tour against the West Indies before this. So the minimal rest time is actually a good thing for us, I think. It's less time to sit around in the hotel and do next to nothing.
Firdous.
Hi, George. George, could you tell us a little bit about what the team has learned from their series against the West Indies that preceded this tournament, and how you think that's going to help you over the coming weeks?
Well, I think obviously, firstly, we've learned quite a lot about the conditions. Playing in St. Vincent, the pitches were a lot slower than we used to, and they turned quite a bit more than back in South Africa. And I think one of the main things we realized is that you never actually out of the game until it's over, because it can change just like this, and momentum is such a big thing here in the West Indies. And also, I think you can never, like in South Africa, we'd look at conditions more and decide whether you're batting or bowling first. And yeah, it's more being dictated by what time we're starting, all those kinds of factors. So we've had to learn quickly about what's going on here.
Zahir, sorry.
Hi there, George. It's Zahir Adams here from IOL. Can you give us just a little bit of an indication on the type of cricket that the coach Shukri Conrad wants you guys to play? We've seen in the T20 challenge, you played in South Africa, you guys were quite attacking, you were quite brave in your approach. Is that the same way you're going to approach the World Cup?
Well, I think we'd like to. We want to try and be as aggressive and attacking as we possibly can without being frantic. I think also depending on what the conditions allow, because all of the different places here in the West Indies, the grounds, well, we've looked at the average scores and all those kinds of things, and some of them are much lower than what we used to back in South Africa. So I think we're going to have to be a little bit more measured in our approach, and it obviously won't be as helter-skelter as the T20s were, but yeah, trying to stick to our brand of being attacking and aggressive.
Marnus.
Hi, it's Marnus here. Actually, I was wondering, in the matches with the Windies, I know there was not much runs. Was that not actually not a lekker thing for you and your mates if you did not have runs? Was it not, you feel, I'm not lekker, are you all right actually walking into the first match?
I think
the weekend, George.
Personally, we chatted as a batting unit with our coach, Mr. Neil McKenzie, who came a little bit later after we'd actually played the series against the West Indies. And he just reminded us that we've never actually played in conditions like this before, and then 150 is actually a very par score. So if you're getting that, it's very defendable here in the West Indies. And I mean, some of our batters haven't got many runs under their belt, and he says it's about peaking at the right time. So hopefully we'll do that. But I think playing here in where we are at the moment in Guyana, the tracks have been a lot more like what we used to. So hopefully that'll come for us. Yeah, we're not in a bad space, I'd say, but yeah, hopefully the runs will come for us.
Nathan?
Thank you, Blanc. On a personal note, how do you think Gray High has shaped you, molded you into becoming a leader, liked by your teammates, because they speak highly of you? As a true Gray produces great leaders, even the box captain Kulisa hails from there.
I think Gray has taught me so many life lessons. I've been there since grade 1 and throughout the whole of high school. And I think the whole staff there and the whole culture that is within the school has just been brilliant. And personally, I couldn't have imagined myself at any other school. It really is the best across the board in terms of culture, sport, and in the classroom. And I think the headmaster, now we've got a new headmaster, Mr. Erasmus, has been brilliant in developing me as a leader and involving me in everything that he could to try and develop my leadership skills. So they've been absolutely like second to none.
Fidois?
George, I know there's obviously a big time difference, but will you have to wake up in the middle of the night, I suppose, to watch the final day of South Africa, India? And have you been keeping an eye? What do you think is going to happen?
Definitely. I think we're in quite a strong position at the moment, needing about 111 with 8 wickets in hand. So all of our coaching staff actually have all of their laptops out in the team room here. So we've been following that very closely. But I think when we wake up in the morning, we'll just see what happens. I don't know if we'll be waking up in the middle of the night, to be honest.
Heloni?
Thanks. Shoni from ENCA. George, obviously the Under-19 World Cup has been a launch pad for a number of careers of South Africa's players. Just for you guys, how excited are you? I don't know if this has been asked already. Apologies if it has, but just how excited are all of you to be here and for your future prospects?
I think extremely excited. Last night, a couple of us are chatting about all of the SA players that have gone before us, and you've got the names like Aiden Markham, Rabada, and all of those kinds of guys who've been in our seat before us. It's absolutely amazing. It's such a great opportunity for all of us. And then just seeing the people that are like walking around the hotel. I mean, this morning I saw Simon Doo and Samuel Badri, there's Courtney Ambrose, and Curti Ambrose. It's been absolutely eye-opening. So we're all just very excited for us to come.
Nazri?
Hi, George. You touched on the pitches earlier being a bit low and slow, and South Africa, traditionally relies on the fast bowlers. Just your confidence in your spinners to make an impact at this World Cup?
I think we're very confident in our spinners. Going into the World Cup and going into the series against the West Indies, we knew what we'd be up against. Our coaches have obviously been here quite a couple of times, so they picked enough spinners, and I think, very confident that our spinners can do the job for us.
Lita?
Hi, George. Hope you're good. Just one quick question. As a captain, obviously this is a huge moment for you guys as a team and as individuals as well. So it's quite a huge life-changing moment. First time some of you players have traveled, overseas, etc. How are you guys keeping each other, grounded and calm in the dressing room and ahead of such a big momentous occasion? Thanks.
Well, like our coaches, Coach Shukri's kept saying to us, we can't view this as representing your country and trying to make the people at home proud and all of that kind of thing, because that just adds extra pressure onto yourself. Instead, we should look at it as an opportunity to do something that we've always lived for. And this is going to be the biggest stage that any of us have ever played cricket on before, but we can't view it as if we fail, we're letting people down and all of that kind of thing, because then we're never going to be successful. So just trying to go out there, enjoy ourselves, and enjoy the time with all of our teammates.
James Cameron.
How's it? James here from Sport 24. I just wanted to ask, I know, of course, you've definitely had a good look at the West Indies outfit in terms of how they play. So I wanted to ask, with the Australian warm-up game getting cancelled, I know you went to go, I think, watch their warm-up game the other day. I want to know if you've got a good look at any of the other teams, and if you have an eye on any other team on who's the side to beat.
The teams have actually been very clever leading into the World Cup. They've televised none of their stuff, and there's been no online streaming in any of the series because they wanted to keep it quite confidential to themselves. So I personally didn't go and watch the India-Australia game, but I know our coaching staff did. So hopefully they got some tips for us, but we'll analyze that close to the game. I think for us as a squad, we're trying to concentrate on what we're trying to do and not focus too much on the opposition. But obviously, you need to do a little bit of analysis on them to try and give you the upper hand. But yeah, we haven't looked too deeply into any of the other teams yet.
Nathan and then Zahir after.
Thank you again. Let's move on to Devil Brivers, who showed so much potential, especially in the CSA T20 competition last year in October. People comparing him to Abby de Villiers, but aside from him, who are the other players we should be looking out for you guys?
Well, I think the nice thing about our team is we have a lot of different match winners. Top of the order, you got Ethan Cunningham, who hits the ball very hard. Valentine Katimu, who has backed him up well. I think since he's come into the side, he's done very, very well. And then on the bowling side, we've got Matthew Bose, who's become like an impact player for us, who's hitting the deck very hard for us. And then also Liam Alder, who bowled nicely. I think we had in our warm-up game yesterday, we had like a super over at the end of the game. And that's obviously the most pressure that you can be under as a bowler, and he handled that brilliantly. So in our group, we've got lots of match winners, but those are probably 4 or 5 of the players that you're going to have to look out for.
Zahir, go ahead.
Hi, George. Just a bit of offbeat question. I mean, the tour of the West Indies is always one of the great tours, and as a 19-year-old, it must be a real, adventure. But you guys in a bubble, are you a bit disappointed that you can't get out and see a bit of the islands?
We've actually been quite blessed that our first bubble in St. Vincent wasn't too strict, and we were allowed out onto the beaches a little bit. We went on a boat tour. We were allowed to go into the shops in the early morning before they opened to the public. We went in for the hour before that and got what we needed. So that bubble wasn't too hectic. But since we've got to Guyana, it's been a very strict bubble. We've only been in the hotel and at the grounds, and it's been tough, but I think we've found ways to keep ourselves occupied and enjoy ourselves. I know lots of the guys have brought their PlayStations here. We've been playing card games in the team room, and all of the management just made it very easy for us to manage. So yeah, it has been tough, and I think as the tournament goes along, it will get even tougher, but we've found ways to manage it.
Right, any further questions? Don't think so. Okay, fantastic. Thanks everyone for joining, and thank you, George, and good luck for the rest of the tournament. For the tournament, and that concludes the press conference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good luck.